Meet Frank Moeller. He's outstanding in his field, literally.
I am the chairman of the board of PCP. Pacific Coast Producers. Pacific Coast Producers is what's called a private label producer. Pacific Coast Producers is an agricultural processing cooperative that's owned by about 160 grower members.
But Frank's not just PCP's chairman, he's also a PCP grower member.
I farm quite a few thousand acres. I raise about 20 different varieties of tomatoes on the acres that I grow.
On his family farm in Woodland in California's Central Valley.
The Central Valley of California is the best area in the world to grow processing tomatoes. We have famous tomatoes. Growing processing tomatoes, it's an art, it's a science, and it's still farming. So it's all of those things together, which adds to the fascination of farming.
It takes plenty of sun and water.
We're sitting on a piece of land that's irrigated with well water.
And good earth.
This is called YOLO loam, and it's class 1, which is as good as you can get. So yes, I believe my tomatoes are better than most of my competition. And this field is an example of what I mean by that.
But Frank started growing his tomatoes even before they came to his field. In a giant greenhouse just a few miles away. Frank selected the seed himself.
Each processor that I work with tells me which varieties they want that will fit best in their pack.
Which were planted by the thousands into trays full of nutrient-rich soil, and then germinated, and then spread out in giant greenhouses to soak up the California sun.
I have over 20 million tomato plants in the greenhouse that will be planted, every one of them by hand. So I plant about 7,050 of these plants per acre in a single row, one row per bed on a 60-inch bed. They have to hold a plant in exactly the right spot, so when that wheel comes around, it's going to drop the plant into a little groove that's made by the shoot.
The seedlings are carefully transplanted into soil Frank prepared months ago.
We talk about doing things like feeding the soil. We work organic matter back into the soil. We add soil amendments to it to try and keep it in balance. Well, someone has to take care of the soil if we're going to produce a food supply to feed the world. The soil has to be taken care of because this is where our food supply comes from.
And each tomato plant gets its own water supply. It's called drip irrigation.
You can see that drip tape is buried right there.
Drip lines course down the length of each row.
So through these drip tape lines, I put on exactly the amount of water that the plant needs.
Which means not a single drop is wasted. Water conservation and the way Frank cares for his soil.
See how fine that is? Crumbles apart, loose.
Means Frank's crop is sustainable. He's an industry leader in sustainability. Outstanding in his field.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce our new Buscetto steam peeler. This machine came from Italy. This piece of equipment, this steam peeler, was designed specifically for Pacific Coast Producers. Sorry it's so loud out here, that's why they're having to subtitle me. The other way to peel is through the use of chemical peel, live peeling. On my left, we have a caustic peeler. This is the old method of peeling. And on my right, this is a new method. You know, this would sound a lot better in Italian.
Questa è una bella macchina.
Okay, the top portion you see before us is a scalding unit. And the tomatoes are in there for only around 12 to 15 seconds.
È molto, molto caldo.
And then from there, it goes into a vacuum unit. What happens with the tomatoes, when it hits that vacuum unit, the tomatoes will explode. That water underneath that layer will explode and break that tomato.
Boom! La pelle cade al pomodoro, naturalmente.
The steam peeler is more environmentally sound.
Bene, bene.
This helps us with the sustainability. Well, we're able to reuse and recapture the peel, and we're able to recapture our water usage. And that is our new steam peeler.